welcome to Dear DeKalb on DCTV. I'm your host, Crystal Thomas. Here on Dear DeKalb, we bring you stories about you, our citizens, about what truly makes our county unique, and that's the people in our communities. Now, this is our first show of 2019, and we've got a special Black History edition of Dear DeKalb. So let's take a look at what we're going to be seeing in our show.
If it wasn't for my fraternity, I don't know if I would be past, getting my bachelor's degree, getting my master's degree. So IOTA gave me the opportunity in college, and I really appreciate that.
When I wasn't working as an actress, I'd be volunteering at Jose Feed the Hungry. When he passed away in 2000, all I had to say was, we keep going.
I live where I want to live, and so do my staff members, as a result of Dr. King's efforts and the civil rights movement.
I realized the importance of being a lawyer and how you can change lives in a positive way. There's power in the law, and lawyers can make changes that help others if they wish.
Stick around right here on Dear DeKalb. Welcome back to Dear DeKalb on DCTV. I'm your host, Crystal Thomas. Now, first up, in our first show of 2019, we're going to take a look at our I Am Black History series, where we feature civil rights legends. First up in our show, we're going to take a look at the story of Mrs. Elizabeth Omalami, the daughter of civil rights legend Hosea Williams. Let's take a look at what she's been up to and how she has continued to uplift her father's legacy.
When I was 5 years old, I watched a huge 8-foot cross burning in the yard. That was my earliest memory of growing up the daughter of Hosea Williams. I saw people beat, I heard people murdered, heard all kinds of horrible stories as a little girl about lynchings, and it was like growing up in a war. We went for ice cream. My father was told, we don't serve no. That moment changed his life. He went and quit his job and started the movement. I also participated in that, and life had to be something where you had to fight for your rights. You don't just live it, you have a purpose. People tried to get him to move out of DeKalb County. He just refused. He loved this county, he loved these people. It's just a blessing to have him remembered as having done something in the world before he left it. All I ever wanted to be was an actress. So I found myself in the theater and started winning awards as an actress in a very early age. But when I wasn't working as an actress, I'd be volunteering at Jose Feed the Hungry. When he passed away in 2000, somebody had to make a decision what's going to happen. Do we just stop everything, or do we keep going? And all I had to say was, we keep going. I kept going, and my husband with me, and then other volunteers kept coming. And then the people with needs, they kept coming. So sometimes that's what you have to say. You have to make the decision, I'm going to keep going. Right now, I am in the middle of creating history. With this house, we're trying to renovate this house and turn it into a civil rights museum. It's my responsibility to do what I can to push the history forward to the young people, because there's so much they don't know. My father's mantra of life was to be unbought and unbossed. That is the hardest thing to do. In my life, I find myself fighting the urge to compromise. I speak out, because if you will hold your tongue at a moment when truth must be spoken because of a dollar bill, then you have sold yourself to somebody. My name is Elizabeth Williams Omalami, and I am Black History.
Unbought and unbossed. Wow, what an amazing piece. We here at DCTV want to thank Mrs. Elizabeth Omalami for taking the time to speak with us and share those stories. Now stick around, we've got more in our I Am Black History series where we highlight our Superior Court Judge, Gregory A. Adams.
There are more good things that go on in the African American community than bad. But it's up to us to make sure our young people understand we do a whole lot of good things in this society every day.
Stick around, more Dear DeKalb after the break. Welcome back to Dear DeKalb right here on DCTV. I'm your host, Crystal Thomas. Our next honoree in our I Am Black History series is none other than DeKalb County's very own Superior Court Judge, Gregory A. Adams, who has made a tremendous impact on our youth right here in our community. Let's take a look at Judge Gregory A. Adams.
I grew up here in the Atlanta area, over in Kirkwood, as a matter of fact, here in DeKalb County. There are 5 children in my family, and I was the 4th. I attended and graduated from the Atlanta public school system. I have an undergraduate degree from Georgia State University in Atlanta and a law degree from University of Georgia in Athens. When I was a child, one of my heroes, I should say, was Thurgood Marshall. He was a lawyer in Brown versus Board of Education. And because of his role and his support, they changed the laws here in the United States, in my opinion, that made lives better for African Americans. And when I grew up, I met other black professionals, but I never knew any African American lawyers personally. And I realized the importance of being a lawyer and how you can change lives in a positive way. There's power in the law, and lawyers can make changes that help others if they wish. And so that's what motivated me to become a lawyer. I've been working for DeKalb County in different capacities for over 34 years. I was a prosecutor. I started off in the solicitor's office. I went to the district attorney's office and I handled felonies. And then I was appointed to the juvenile court. And that was a great experience because as a juvenile court judge, I could directly impact families, in my opinion, in a positive way. And so as a juvenile court judge, I could see individuals who made mistakes and I could try to chart them or push them on a path so that they could improve their lives. And what I want those young people to understand, if you dream it, you can do anything you wish. Now you got to work hard to get there, but you can fulfill any dreams that you have. I had a good, supportive family who taught me the value of respecting myself and loving myself as an African American person. That's a starting point. But it's important for us to express to our family members to take pride in ourselves and understand that the news focus on negative things that happen in our community. There are more good things that go on in the African American community than bad. But it's up to us. It's incumbent upon us to make sure our young people understand we do a whole lot of good things in this society every day. Not just during February, but every day. After I ran for an open seat here in DeKalb County, became a Superior Court judge, because of the work that I had done while I was at that point, the Board of Commissioners voted unanimously to name the Gregory A. Adams Juvenile Justice Center after me. DeKalb County, as you know, was founded in 1822, and I was the first judge on any level to have a building named after him or her. It was a great honor. I did not expect it, but you think in terms of if it will inspire the next generation, so be it. I consider myself a part of Black history to this extent. When I go out and interact with people in the community, and they will thank me for giving them a second chance to improve their lives. And as a result of that, I feel I'm a part of a legacy that has tried to improve America. When my days are done, I want to be remembered for helping others to improve their lives. I am Judge Gregory A. Adams, and I am Black History.
Now, the next time you're on Memorial Drive and you pass by the Juvenile Justice Center, take a good look at whose name is on that building. What an incredible legacy. Coming up next on Dear DeKalb. When you hear Divine 9, what does that mean to you? Let's find out after the break. Welcome back to Dear DeKalb right here on DCTV. I'm your host, Crystal Thomas. Now, next up in our show, we've got a special story about Divine 9 Day at a local elementary school right here in DeKalb County. Now, Divine 9 represents the 9 historically Black fraternities and sororities in the United States, and they came out and donated their time to help inspire DeKalb County's youth. Let's take a look.
Break it down.
It's an exciting day at Oak Cliff. It's always something going on, and I honestly must say
During Black History Month, we've had a lot of events, but this one has kind of topped everything. We have invited every sorority and fraternity representation from historically Black colleges. They want to show our students their pride and sisterhood and brotherhood. So to be able to share this type of tradition with these students is an awesome opportunity for my school.
Last year for Black History Month, we just had a contest of who can do something really neat for HBCU week. So I put a little table next to my office so the kids could see the different sororities and fraternities. And they looked at the paraphernalia. First thing they said is, "Oh, you guys are the ones that do stepping." And I was like, oh no, that's not all we do. We're not all about stepping, but we're about helping our community. We're about education. We're about international awareness. This year, my vision was to bring that to the students so they could see what we're all about.
Oh, so you're the one. We're actually a STEM certified school, so we're always inviting people in who are bringing something new to our school, and having these sororities and fraternities here is just the Oak Cliff way of doing things.
Where you want to go to college? Engineer? What type of engineer? Getting your college degree, going to school and furthering yourself can increase your quality of life, and so that's why I'm glad we're here sharing and some of the things that we do in our organizations.
The kids were very excited. They're very inquisitive, especially when they begin to associate people who are members of these great organizations. They're like, you know what, I know that guy, I know that lady. Michael Jordan, he's a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And as a result, they say, you know what, I can see myself being a part of that as well.
People need to know this is historically African-American fraternities. They need to know that we are open and want to share our values, our heritage with other people.
I was just really surprised about the types of questions they ask. A lot of them ask, what do the letters AKA stand for? What's our purpose? They were really intrigued by the pictures, the types of community service. How do you become a part of the organization? Who are our founders? I didn't expect that type of feedback from elementary students.
Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
It's strictly about education for me. If it wasn't for my fraternity, I don't know if I would be past, getting my bachelor's degree, getting my master's degree, and then being with a group of men who are professionally led to help you and push you to do different things. So IOTA gave me the opportunity in college, and I really appreciate that.
I'm hoping that they learn a lot to take away from this, to tell their families, because most of their families have not gone to college. So this is something I would love them to take it back home and share with their families.
Each one of us represents an intricate part of the fraternity and sorority family. And basically it's all about community, finding out about who we are and what we do, and basically how differences can become similarities.
It lets the students see that we all work together for one common goal, and that's help our communities.
It's important that children, adults, see and understand the significance between the 9 of us, but also the similarities. Even though we're in different sororities and fraternities, we try to do a lot of community services and activities together.
Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, we're more than just gold boots, we're more than just going out and having parties. We're all about service. That's right, serving the community and serving each other.
One thing that's very important to Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, specifically, we have a program called Go to High School, Go to College. Coming here, being able to spread the message about our brotherhood, our service, our scholarship to all these young children, and letting them leave with that is something that we hold very near and dear to our heart and to our brotherhood.
We are exposing kids to whatever it is that may take them to the next level. That is the Oak Cliff way.
Now those kids certainly looked like they had a lot of fun and definitely appreciated the members of the Divine Nine coming out to their schools and spending time with them. Now next up in our show, we're going to take a look at this year's NAACP DeKalb MLK Day Parade. Stick around, right here on Dear DeKalb. Welcome back to Dear DeKalb on DCTV. I'm your host, Crystal Thomas. Now finally on our show, we have a wonderful piece about this year's NAACP DeKalb MLK Day Parade, where various DeKalb County organizations, local fraternities and sororities, and schools came out to celebrate the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Let's take a look.
Every year for the past 17 years, the local chapter of the NAACP here in DeKalb County convenes everyone from the community to come together in honor of the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Just behind me, the parade is just about to begin.
Today is actually 17 years that the NAACP has actually had this event. So of course it's Dr. Martin Luther King's holiday that we're celebrating. We're trying to make sure everyone know a little history behind this.
Remembering the dream, honoring the dreamer. The theme of this year's MLK Parade. Hundreds of DeKalb County residents gathered out in frigid temperatures to honor and remember the legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The first high school in all of Georgia to be named in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., DeKalb County's own MLK Marching Band, starts the parade every year.
We believe in Dr. King and his dream and all that he did to bring all of us together. It was important for us to make this a day on and not a day off, and to come out here and represent for Dr. King and his dream.
DeKalb High School bands came out representing the youth of the county. They performed for the crowds as onlookers waved and cheered during the parade. Every year, DeKalb County Sanitation Department takes a part because we all know that the sanitation workers were a group of people that Dr. King fought to make sure that they were treated justly. DeKalb County Sanitation.
Spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King and of the community is very strong, and I'm so proud that DeKalb continues to have one of the biggest ML King Day parades in the entire state of Georgia. You know, the bands are all out here, community organizations, many elected officials, so we're just very happy that the spirit is strong here in DeKalb.
The ceremony and parade began at Green Pastures Christian Church on Flat Shoals Parkway and ended at MLK High School on Snapfinger Road.
We're here today. I sit in office today. I live where I want to live, and so do my staff members, as a result of Dr. King's efforts and the civil rights movement.
We're humbled to be out here and to support this event, support his birthday, to support the causes and mentoring that he has provided throughout the year. So we're always excited to be out here to be a part of this great celebration.
The annual NAACP MLK Parade continues to leave a lasting legacy in DeKalb County by honoring Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., remembering the dream, honoring the dreamer. Well, it was rather chilly out here, but it was a fun time had by all for the 17th annual DeKalb County NAACP MLK Day Parade. Reporting from Snapfinger Road, I'm Diamond Lewis for DCTV.
For the past 17 years, the local DeKalb County chapter of the NAACP has hosted this parade in an effort to keep the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. alive in our communities and in our hearts. And I'm sure we'll be seeing them next year. Well, that's all for our show. Thank you so much for watching Dear DeKalb. I'm your host, Crystal Thomas. We'll see you next time.